Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Seasonal Weather platform where we speak truth to power. This evening, we're going to go into this video here. This video was shot back in about 9 months ago, around about December 2022. You would see Nana Akufo-Addo, the Ghanaian president, meeting Anthony Blinken, the U.S. Foreign Secretary. Now, I am left to believe or to start thinking that what we are seeing here is nothing more than double speak by President Nana Akufo-Addo. He's speaking double speaking all the time. It appears that he's supporting African self-determination and growth and development and putting African interests first. But what is said here, you take a listen yourself. Keep in mind, this is 9 months ago, but you take a listen yourself.
I want to urge upon you. Today, Russian mercenaries are on our northern border. Burkina Faso has now entered into an arrangement to go along with Mali in employing the Wagner forces there. I believe a mine in southern Burkina has been allocated to them as a form of payment for their services. Prime Minister of Burkina Faso in the last 10 days has been in Moscow. And to have them operating on our northern border is particularly distressing for us in Ghana. Apart from not accepting the idea of the great powers once again making Africa their theater of operation, we have a particular position that you know about over the Ukraine war, where we have been very, very vocal and upfront about condemning the invasion of Russia by Russia. And therefore, they're now to have this group at our borders is a matter of some considerable disquiet and concern for us. And we really like to have a privileged opportunity to talk about its implications and what we believe ought to be the case. This is what took place with the discussion in the Congress yesterday, which I found very fruitful. And I would like that the themes of that discussion should be the themes that we should continue to address. To what extent we can have you as a partner in confronting these threats.
I'm not even going to listen to, well, we might listen to what Anthony Blinken was going to reply. My, oh my. My, oh my. Is this not the same man that is telling America to go and they'll have to understand that they have trading partners and everything else? That they can trade with whoever they want to? So why is Ghana afraid of their northern border, whatever Burkina Faso is doing? Why is President Nana Akufo-Addo, why is he silent over the way France has taken over, has enforced safer francs that France doesn't use on 14 African countries? Why is he silent? I am so, to be honest, I don't know how this news has been kept quiet. I'm sorry to say, but the president of Ghana is double speaking. On one hand, he pretends as though he's for everything Africa and Africa speaking up and defend themselves. And when Burkina Faso decides to go into arrangement for interest that serves them rather than the serving the French interest of extracting African resources for peanuts, then you rush to the very people, the circle of people who have been enslaving Africa. I'm really disappointed, to be honest with you. I am just so disappointed. I came across this and I was like, what? And you see, that's why I laughed. because this is not the kind of leadership that we need. We need young leaders. There's a young Ghanaian MP who's really forthright and speaking. I hope he's really, he was going to back it up with, with further, commitment and encouraging and waking up his people. And I think he should be speaking to this his president as well, that what Burkina Faso has every right to do what they're doing. And this idea, the way this is being, why is he silent? Nana Akufo-Addo silent as France looted from Niger and from Burkina Faso and from Mali for over 40 years the resources of those countries. But now you're now talking because they want to be able to, Burkina Faso wants to control their own destiny. How do you see this? I mean, you see him in the middle there. That's him there. Let's hear for a few minutes, because I don't know if I would even want to listen to the rest of the story. I was going to do his cover his UN speech, but this is, I'm disappointed. Very. Let's listen for a few minutes.
It's very important that ECOWAS and the West African area remains a democratic space.
It isn't a democratic space. Stop this nonsense. What's democracy? What democracy are you speaking of? Is it the one where the people are being denied access and benefit to the resources by the economic warfare carried out by the combination of the US, the UK, the European currencies, the financial institutions, the World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank, that is really an African hijacking of African development? Is it? I'm having to contain myself, obviously. I really thought, I mean, I had my suspicions about President of Ghana, but hearing him say this, ECOWAS is a puppet of the French. ECOWAS is a puppet of the French and the Western powers. And listen on to what he's saying. I'm really disappointed yet again.
It's the reason for the actions we took over the coup d'etats in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Guinea. And ECOWAS has been very consistent in refusing.
ECOWAS, like I keep saying, is the puppet of the West, the puppet of France and the West. And you're crying out to these same people. Oh, this is
using to deal with these governments because of the undemocratic nature of the accession to.
What democracy are you talking about? What democracy are you talking about? There's no democracy in Africa. It's an appearance of democracy. In a democratic process, we would be in control of our monetary structures. We will be in control of who we trade with. We will be in control of our security. We would have food security. But everything is all hanging on what the West say. Oh, man. Do leave comments as you're watching this. I want to hear your views on this. President Nana Akufo-Addo has really disappointed me badly, and he's let himself down by the statements I'm hearing here. I know it's 9 months ago, but when you tie that to what he's saying at the UN and talking about the slave trade and everything else, you start, this is double speak. And I don't know when you, I don't know. How do you read this?
The commitment to democratic values and institutions is
please understand something, President Nana Akufo-Addo. The West don't care about democracy in Africa. The one thing that the West are only interested in is the 30% of the world's mineral resources that is in Africa. They don't care about democracy. So when you come in, support us in democracy, they are using as a cover for them to ingratiate themselves within our system and exploit Africa like they have been doing for 500 years. That's the reality. That's the plain reality. And I'm so disappointed, but I shouldn't be surprised. Many of our so-called leaders in Africa are puppets. The young ones like Ibrahim Traore, Goita, Dombaye, they are speaking truth to power, and those are the kind of people we need to continue to support. Nana Akufo-Addo is a relic of those, is a symbol of those puppets that the West love to work with, who will try and steer and hold Africa back from developing. I'm sorry, that's the best way I can describe this. Listen on to more of what he's saying. I have grave reservations in listening on, but I want to listen nonetheless.
High priority for our states. We in Ghana have been through all kinds of arrangements, governance arrangements in the past, one-party state, all kinds of experiments have taken place. And our people are now very clear in their mind. They want to go down the avenue of democratic engagement. And that is why the last 30 years of the Fourth Republic have been the most stable in our country's history. We want to do everything to preserve that. But there are enemies of democracy who are working hard in West Africa.
You're saying nothing about the exploitation of our resources by the financial economic warfare carried out by the West against African countries. You're saying nothing about that. The currencies, for example. How come you're silent on the fact that France forces 14 African countries to use CFA that they print, but France itself uses euro? You say nothing about that. And you think this is about... So when the words democracy, they are there to confuse your mind. You're obviously confused because you think they are interested in democracy in Africa. They are only interested in the mineral resources in Africa. Go and look at what's happening in Congo. They are taking the resources. The airspace of Congo is the most active in the whole of Africa. The amount of resources that they're flying out at night. And you are here talking about, oh, you think America is interested in democracy. America and the entire Western policy is about ensuring Africa never benefits from its own mineral resources. I'm so disappointed in what President Nana Akufo-Addo is saying here. I'm really, really disappointed. But let's listen on.
Today. And therefore, it's important that we bring that matter to your notice.
You see, bring the matter to your notice. You, cap in hand. Yes, master. Yes, master. Please help us. Please help us. We need your help. Please, we need your help. The structures you put in place, we are ready to help you to keep it there. Those structures. You're mistaking structures. You are mistaking what you call democracy. They are just structures. There is no real... They're not allowing real democracy to take place. If that was the case, your cocoa, you will be able to mass produce finished product of cocoa in Ghana and sell it to the West. How's that going? Is it not the other way around? They are trying to make sure that you just produce cocoa and they use it and you have to buy the finished product at expensive prices. Now tell me what's democratic in that. Anyway.
And see to what extent we can engage you as a reliable partner in the pushback of those forces. There are other areas, of course, of great significance too.
You are going to the very same people that have engineered the undermining of African development. Let me ask you a question, President Nana Akufo-Addo. Let me ask you a question directly. Does Africa have any permanent seat on the Security Council of the UN? Does Africa have a permanent seat as a member, with a veto? Does Africa have a veto seat as members of the UN? I know you know the answer is no. And that tells you all you need to know. All of what you are doing now counts for zero. We have no veto powers as Africa. The whole of Africa, with 1.2 billion people, we have zero veto powers. And you are here talking to the same people that have ensured the enslavement, the continued colonization of Africa, the relentless sucking out of African resources at dead cheap prices. I am utterly disappointed, but not surprised. Ultimately, I'm not surprised. The coming generation must address the issue of puppets, African puppet leaders doing the bidding of the very people who have enslaved and colonized Africa till date. Not surprised, but yeah.
Cooperation for economic growth and prosperity.
There is going to be no economic growth in this system. Don't you get it? Your currency. Let me do something for you right now, President Nana Akufo-Addo. Let me show you something. I want to show you something quickly. So look, one cedis, yeah. One cedis. $2. Let's do that. Now look at that. Isn't that interesting? One cedis to $1. Yeah. 0.086. 0.086. Your cedis is not up to 1 cent. Not up to 1 cent of the dollar. That's what you're looking at on the screen. You see? Let me make it bigger for you. Your cedi against the dollar, the people you're running to, your one cedi is not up to even 1 cent of the dollar. You see that? 0.86, 0.086, 0.086. So when you think that they are looking out for your interest, they are just making sure that your resources will be bought at dirt cheap prices. And they're giving many different African countries different rates. So you think you're a bit better off, but we are all collectively worse off. We are collectively worse off. And I'd like you to address this, President Nana Akufo-Addo. I need you to address this particular one. I need to see your answer on this one. Look at this one. Let's look at this. One CFA. Remember, France imposed this CFA on 14 African countries. One CFA to euro. You say nothing about that, by the way. One CFA to euro. See that? One CFA to euro. It's not even. It is even worse situation. So you can see the justification for Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Guinea for standing and saying no more. But you are not looking at that justification. You're not. I don't think you are looking at these numbers. I don't think you are. I don't even need to play anything more. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on what I'm showing you here? We're showing the real facts. We are showing you the real facts of the currency. That is what is being used to strip us of the wealth of our African countries. Remember, Africa has 30% of the world's resources, mineral resources, and we have been denied. It's the richest continent on earth, period. And we have been denied for 500 years plus by the looters who have come to impoverish us in our own land. It's time we woke up. And I suggest strongly that the youths of Ghana begin to seek, to look at, to see President Nana Akufo-Addo for what he is. This is a puppet for the West on full display. And we need to call it out. To build a better Africa, we don't need puppets as leaders in Africa. No. We need people who are committed, like General Chani, like Ibrahim Traore, Goita of Mali, and others. Dumbaye of Guinea. We need committed African leaders who will stand up for their people. As we speak in Niger right now, Niger are getting the full value of the 1 kilogram of uranium. Before, they were getting 80 cents for every kilogram of uranium that France forced them to accept. The market value, the world market value for uranium is 200 euros per kilogram. And that is what Niger is getting now. That is what standing up for your people, standing up for the Nigerians in Niger. That's what it looks like. You get the value, true value for your resources. And we're entitled to do that. And I would suggest that all African countries join hands and begin to do that. Make sure that we get true value for our resources in our own land. We have been exploited for long enough. And I'm truly disappointed in, but ultimately not surprised in the actions of President Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on what we just saw? I just explained to you how our resources have been stripped out of our hands using the currencies that they imposed on us. The CFA is imposed on Africa. What's fair in that? What's fair in that? And so Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, Niger, they are perfectly within their right as sovereign nations to break free from the yoke, the imposed franc currency that France themselves don't use. They use the euro. So you can see that they suck the wealth out by imposing these French francs on African countries. And then they now use that wealth to improve France at the expense of African countries. And then Akufo-Addo is now saying, oh, we're on a northern flank. Nonsense. I am so disappointed. I was going to post the video about him talking about Africa and slavery and all that stuff. But this video here, the double speak, I cannot do that. I have to address this. This video was 9 months ago. Unless he's had a change of heart, and I hardly doubt it. I am so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. What are your thoughts? You're watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What I'd like you to do for me, go ahead and subscribe to Season AY. Oops. Yeah. Subscribe to Season AY. Hit the notification button. Give us thumbs up. Help us reach more people. And please, what are your thoughts on this? I am so disappointed in President Nana Akufo-Addo. That's the question. One has to ask the question: is Nana Akufo-Addo a puppet for the West? Is he? Watch the video and draw your own conclusions. And let's have your comments. You are, of course, watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Thank you very much for watching. I'll leave it here. I've given you context now. The West are using the currencies they imposed on us, and the currencies that they set the rate to suck out the wealth of Africa. And it's time Africans wake up collectively. We need a one currency for Africa. That's what we need. Ladies and gentlemen, you are, of course, watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please, I urge all my fellow African brothers to please subscribe to this platform. We are here discussing, from time to time, we'll be talking a lot about African issues and how it affects us all collectively, and the need for us to unite. In our unity, there is strength in our unity. Unity is strength. When we are divided, we are easily picked off by the colonials. When we are united, they can't break us. We need one currency. We need to have an integrated security for the whole of Africa, and also to make sure that we build financial structures that will ensure that we get the full benefit of our resources and use it to improve our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. About later on. Thank you and bye for now.